A Southern University student dies following a fraternity ritual. Put it up full mass. This is so sad. Smart, promising, and also wanted to change the world. An investigation is underway into the mysterious death of mechanical engineering student, Mr. Caleb Wilson. He was a junior at Southern University who reportedly collapsed while participating in a ritual with his fraternity, Omega Psi Phi. This was at the campus. It was at an off-campus park, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Wilson was a member of Human Jukebox, the school's marching band. He made his debut on trumpet November 2023 at the 50th anniversary of the Bayou Classic. I'm going to give you the background. The results of the autopsy are still pending, okay? New Orleans station WVUE reported that Wilson fell during an exercise where students were forced to stand in line. It cited an unnamed source. It described it as, quote, familiar with the case, which caused Wilson to collapse, is still unknown. He was unresponsive when a group of friends took him to Baton Rouge General Hospital early Tuesday morning. Doctors pronounced Wilson dead and called the Baton Rouge police at about 3:15 a.m., prompting a death investigation. In a statement, Southern University and A&M College said it was aware of, quote, an off-campus incident that may have resulted in the death of student Caleb Wilson, a junior from New Orleans majoring in mechanical engineering. The campus community extends condolences to his family, classmates, and loved ones. Southern is cooperating fully with the Baton Rouge Police Department, which is in charge of the investigation currently. The statement continues, quote, no further information is available at this time. So let's go to law and crime reporter Kennedy Walker, who covered Wilson's death, placed the onus on the university, on Southern University. She wrote on X, quote, I'm heartbroken to hear about the Southern U student who died after an off-campus fraternity ritual. It has been 30 years since my dad nearly lost his life during a similar hazing incident at Southern University. While he's alive, the brutal hazing left him paralyzed and blind. He is no longer paralyzed, but he's still blind and has fought tirelessly for decades to regain his sight. He's currently trying to get into a clinical trial to restore his vision. My family is sickened that decades later, Southern University has allowed this to happen again. I pray that, unlike my family, the victim's family gets the justice they deserve. Southern was never held accountable, nor were those responsible for what happened to my dad. It's beyond disgusting, end quote, from Ms. Kennedy Walker. Commentators online express frustration that the practice continues. Quote, hazing is supposed to be illegal. Outlaw fraternities and sororities, another quote, wrote one reader on Facebook. One commenter on X said Wilson's life could have been saved had someone stepped up. Quote, no one stopped it, he wrote. No one stepped in. Caleb Wilson, 20, collapsed in the middle of a fraternity ritual, and instead of dialing 911, they drove him to a hospital unresponsive. His father, a high-ranking officer, now faces the nightmare of burying his own son. This should never happen. Never have happened. Long identified as a problem, hazing remains a popular ritual on college campuses. The consequences are sometimes deadly, with at least 50 deaths blamed on hazing since 2020. And the numbers are increasing at an alarming rate. One independent researcher said the number of hazing deaths since 2000 is actually 105, according to the Best Colleges report. And the numbers keep getting worse, with 40 occurring between 2007 and 2017. Nearly 80% of the deaths are tied to excessive alcohol consumption and fraternities. It's so sad. I could not imagine as a parent what the family is going through. And a young man with such promise and brilliance and wanting to transform things in his future, going through this, what they will call a ritual, and ends up dying. I know that this is tradition on a lot of campuses. It is illegal and it has to stop. It puts people in danger that should never be in danger. And it creates a culture of disruption rather than a culture of progression. And that's exactly what's happening. We are standing with the family, hoping that justice does happen. To Ms. Walker, thank you for the contextualization that you provided. We're standing with you and hoping that your father receives the clinical trial entrance that he's looking for. Jackson, thoughts here?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate when things like this happen. And, I understand if you're a fraternity or a sorority, you don't necessarily want any old body joining. And you may want there to be some type of a process to have people show their dedication or show how badly they really want to be a part of it. In addition to hazing rituals, you got to pay dues, you got to pay up a bunch of money. So there's a lot of stuff to where any old body can't join fraternities. I remember when I was like 19, 20, I used to live with a bunch of Kappas in Indiana. And I remember when they was, going through it, getting paddled and swatted with the, you know what I'm saying? Like in my garage, I used to hear that, wow, but that just is part of the culture, and it doesn't really need to be, in my opinion. I don't really see why I need to get beat up to be a part of a brotherhood. Fraternities do come with benefits, particularly Black fraternities. They seem to, be more of a lifelong club and lifelong access to things. But this just you don't need to be beaten to death or drink yourself to death to be a part of something like this. So hopefully people learn from this and don't continue.
Yeah. Obviously, we're waiting on a response, a more comprehensive response from the university as the investigation continues.